Of course, we can talk about 7 to 12 in the literal years where everything is just so incredibly literal. And this is the best description. It is, what time is it, mom? It's 4 o'clock. No, it's not. It's 3:58. Why are you lying? One, if you knew it was 3:58, you could have looked at the clock anyway and you would have known what time it was. And two, I'm just estimating. I'm just estimating that's right around 4 o'clock. No, you're lying. You said it was 4 o'clock, it's 3:58. At that point, it's not 3:59. You're both lying. And you're like, what do you mean? But why are we arguing about this? Like it's 4 o'clock. No, it's not. And then it goes back and forth until it actually turns 4 o'clock. And they're like, look, now it's four. And you're like, I'm so glad we had this conversation when you could have told time the entire time. And then they walk away satisfied because somehow they won in their heads, and you're like, I don't know what happened there, but it went sideways somewhere. And here's the thing. The reason is because for the first 6 years of development, everything is just about them. They are their own world and you are there to serve them. And they are that kind of tiny drunk human and they are just trying to survive. Ages 7 to 12, all of a sudden they realize they exist in a world. They haven't really looked around in the world and like evaluated the world in any capacity. So they're not thinking about how they live in the world. They're also not thinking about how you live in the world. They are just thinking about how the world exists and they're just observing. And some of that observation will drive you up a wall because they also want to tell you about their observations. And it's a lot of things that you already know, or you realize are some things that you maybe don't care about. And that's the key. Here's the thing, just because you don't care about it doesn't mean they don't. So you need to make sure that you plug in and listen, because if you don't, you're going to pay for it later. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience, this is categorically true. If you do not care about it, yes, you do. Now you do. You're going to have to learn to right now, immediately, because if not, you're going to have a much harder time down the line. That being said, when you hit age like 13 through 18, then they're blending the two worlds where it is no longer like they're the main character in the story. Like, does that make sense? Like, or it's no longer like they are only thinking about them or only thinking about the world. They're now thinking about how they move through the world, and they're thinking very little about like the strangers around them. I think it's more about fitting in and trying to figure out how all these things work and they're intricate and so that can make you crazy in a different way. However, it's different than when they're just in that 7 to 12 literal year time. So, best of luck.